Alexander the Great is known as one of the greatest military leaders in history, but there are many lesser-known episodes and mysteries in his life. This video delves deeply into his childhood, his epic expeditions, and his sudden death, explaining the secrets and legacy of the massive empire he built. A heroic military leader who became king of Macedonia at the age of just 20 and built the world's largest empire in just 12 years, he is also renowned as an undefeated warrior. But there are many aspects of his extraordinary life that are not found in textbooks. In today's video, we will explore the little-known facts about his humanity, the secrets of his empire, and the mysteries surrounding his later life. We will provide you with new perspectives that will surprise you and give you a deeper understanding of his accomplishments. Let's look at his life not just as a heroic tale, but also as a human being. Chapter 1. Was he never defeated? Alexander was known for his military genius. There is no record that he was actually defeated in any of the battles he led. Every major battle he commanded, including the Battle of Arbela, the Battle of Issos, and the Battle of Gaugamela, ended in victory. However, behind the scenes, it was not only his tactical genius, but also his careful planning and skillful scheming on the battlefield. For example, he often gave false information to his enemies to confuse them. On one occasion, he intentionally underestimated his own forces, leading his opponents to become overconfident and let their guard down. These tactics were not just a show of force, but a clever use of psychological warfare. He also won many battles without fighting. Especially in the war against Persia, his military intimidation and skillful diplomacy led to the surrender of many cities and brought them under his control without fighting. This image of him as the undefeated king was supported by his strategic thinking and calm judgment. Furthermore, his ability to command his troops was also astounding, as he often inspired his warriors on the front lines, giving them unparalleled morale. Thus, the myth of Alexander's undefeat was based on his wisdom and leadership. Chapter 2. Alexander as a multiculturalist. Alexander's empire was not merely a collection of conquered territories. He promoted a multiculturalist policy toward his conquered territories. For example, after conquering Persia, he encouraged intermarriage with Persians, and he himself married Persian royalty. He also recruited soldiers not only from Greece but also from the conquered lands for his army, creating a multinational army composed of various ethnic groups. He sought to reduce the risk of rebellion and achieve peaceful rule by respecting the culture and religion of the conquered lands. He also promoted economic development and cultural integration by providing a place for locals and Greeks to coexist in his own newly built cities. A symbolic example of this is Alexandria, which he built. The city later became the world's center of learning and culture, and flourished as a place where Greek and Egyptian cultures were successfully blended. Alexander's multiculturalist stance was an attempt to build a more stable society by allowing different cultures to coexist, rather than simply making his empire an instrument of domination. Chapter 3. Alexander's scholarly side. Alexander was not just a warrior. He was also deeply interested in philosophy, science, and the arts. This was due in part to his mentor, Aristotle. The education he received from Aristotle had a profound impact on Alexander's life. He studied philosophy from an early age and developed a deep interest in the natural world and human nature. His expeditions were accompanied by many scholars and scientists who documented their discoveries in new lands and deepened their knowledge of geography, botany, and zoology. His expeditions were not just military expeditions, but also scholarly pursuits. He also placed great emphasis on interaction with cultures in the East and sought to combine Greek philosophy with local scholarship. Alexander's interest in learning shows that he was not just a conqueror, but a seeker after knowledge and understanding. Chapter 4. Mystery surrounding the cause of his death. Alexander died at the age of only 32, and the cause of his death still remains a mystery to many. Alexander's sudden death was an event that shook the future of his empire. He was exhausted from years of expeditions and wounded from fighting in many places, but he was still determined to conquer more. But he fell suddenly ill in Babylon and died a few days later. From ancient times to the present day, various theories have been proposed as to the cause of his death. It is generally believed that his death was caused by an epidemic such as malaria or typhus, although some suspect that he may have been poisoned. his sudden death sparked a succession struggle, and the huge empire he had built followed a path of division. As for the poisoning theory, those who were around him at the time planned his assassination in order to seize power. Particular suspicion has been directed at one of his successors, the generals, and some of his subjects who were dissatisfied with him. It is also believed that rebellions and plots in the areas controlled by his conquests may have been aimed at his life. However, recent research has strengthened the theory that his death was due to his own health and the accumulation of stress and malnutrition from prolonged expeditions. He spent much of his short life on expeditions, and it is thought that his battlefield injuries and the harsh environment in which he lived may have eventually taken a toll on his health. The issue of succession to the empire after his death was also very complicated. Since Alexander had no legitimate successor, the empire was divided and ruled by generals after his death. This power struggle further complicated the truth of Alexander's death and is the reason why it remains a historical mystery. The life of Alexander the Great was short, lasting only 32 years, but his influence is still felt throughout history. Although his empire subsequently suffered division and decline, the cultural and military legacy he established continued to have a profound impact on future generations. His tactics have been applied to modern military strategy, and his multiculturalist policies are considered to have much to learn from today's global perspective. His pursuit of knowledge and the spirit of inquiry have made him a highly respected scholarly leader as well as a mere conqueror. The mysteries and many anecdotes of his life will continue to interest people for years to come. As we reflect on Alexander's legacy, we realize that he was more than just a military hero. He left his mark on culture, knowledge, and politics. If he had lived even longer, how would history have been different? We cannot answer that question, but it is not difficult to imagine the limitless possibilities he would have had. Chapter 5. The World After Alexander's Death. The Division of the Empire and its Legacy. After the death of Alexander the Great, what was the fate of the vast empire he had built? His sudden death was a major event that shook the empire, triggering succession problems. This chapter explores the fate of the empire after his death and the legacy his death left. When Alexander died, his empire had no clear successor. His eldest son was still too young and too weak to rule the empire. In addition, Alexander himself left no specific instructions regarding his future successor, and after his death, a succession struggle erupted. This led to a series of power struggles known as the Diadochois Wars, in which Alexander's able generals divided the empire, each establishing a new kingdom. Notable examples include Egypt, ruled by Ptolemy, most of Asia, ruled by Seleucus, and Macedonia, ruled by Cassandros. The Greek language was widely used, and Greek philosophy, science, and art penetrated as far as Egypt, Persia, and India. During this period, scientists made important advances in astronomy and mathematics, and the multicultural influence of Alexander's empire was evident. His military tactics and governing methods also influenced many leaders and military leaders of later generations. During this period, the empire was divided and the one empire that Alexander had built in his lifetime ceased to exist. However, the influence he left behind continued afterwards. First, Alexander's expeditions spread Greek culture to the east, which greatly contributed to the later development of Hellenistic culture. Figures such as the military leaders of the Roman Empire and Napoleon studied Alexander's tactics and further developed them, imitating his methods. After Alexander's death, his body was lost for a long time, but it is said that Ptolemy established his tomb in Egypt. This tomb was handed down to posterity as the Mausoleum of Alexander, but its exact location is unknown today. His mausoleum, if discovered, would be a major archaeological find. Alexander the Great built a massive empire during his lifetime, and even though the empire broke up after his death, his legacy is forever etched in history. His adventurous spirit and the vastness of the world he linked together continue to have a powerful influence on history buffs and scholars around the world. Alexander's empire is gone, but the cultural bridges he created and his achievements continue to reverberate throughout the world today. The impact of his death was not merely the end of a conqueror, but a moment that heralded the dawn of a new era. We hope that by experiencing Alexander's extraordinary life and its mysteries, you, the viewer, have been reminded of the depth of history and the impact he left behind. We hope that this video will provide you with a new perspective on him and help to further deepen your interest in history. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. We will be back next time to unravel more secrets of our little-known history. See you again in the next video.